name is Kaitlyn. I have gathered you all here today to inform you about the use of children in the military and to help you better understand what the military use children for. The military use of children, that's a small but big phrase. When we think about that phrase, we think about the countries and the wars we have had through the years that do or did use children in them. I have done extensive research on this subject, and there were many articles available that have given me the information to give you this speech today. The use of children in the military is not so much known here in the United States, but soldiers in the Vietnam War and soldiers who have been overseas have witnessed the use of children in the military. In an article about the children of the Vietnam War, they talked about how children were taught to be informants and do other military responsibilities. Informants could get around the U.S. soldiers to get information on attacks and then report back to the Vietnam soldiers. The other military responsibilities were making hats for soldiers, constructing routes to reach the south of Vietnam, and barricading their schools. They were barricading their schools from bombs, and they were also using them as shelters occasionally. In an article about the Afghanistan Taliban, they tell us about how children were used in the front line as suicide bombers and planting bombs. The boys are put into schools from age 6, were indoctrinated, and by age 13 were taught to use firearms. The Taliban used children to carry out suicides, recruiting them through deception. One 15-year-old boy told United Nations investigators that a Taliban commander ordered him to detonate explosives against Afghan police, promising him that if he carried out the mission, he would go to paradise and receive huge rewards. When the boy resisted, the commander threatened to kill him and his parents, which was quoted from an article. This is our opportunity to end the Taliban use of children. Altogether, children are mostly used to distract enemy soldiers, which is the U.S. soldiers, so that their country soldiers can sneak in and attack our U.S. soldiers. The use of children in the military put adult soldiers in a dilemma because they must make the decision to save theirs or their troops' lives or kill a child. From an article, child soldiers are put adult troops in painful moral dilemmas. Facing a child can force a professional soldier into a moral dilemma, whether to protect himself, herself, and their comrades, or to risk harming the child who possesses a threat. Harming a child can cause adult soldiers serious psychological damage. Most cultures consider children innocent, who deserve protection, and for soldiers in most armies around the world, harming a child comes with guilt, shock, and shame. A lot of soldiers bring home guilt with them after killing children. They have PTSD from watching those kids go down after they shoot them. It's really hard on them because they don't want to see their own kids have to be shot and go down. U.S. soldiers also have to keep in mind that these kids are not innocent. They were trained to do these things, but it is still hard on them. This is one of the most disturbing trends in the world today, to have children in the military at even such a young age. And I know in the U.S., we don't have to worry about having our children be a part of the military until it is their choice. And we aren't teaching them or putting them in training for this, but just think of all of the countries that are still doing it, because there are so many more than I have explained today. Be kind to our troops who have gone overseas and seen these kids who must go through this in their countries. Lastly, do not judge those soldiers who have had to make these moral decisions it was a hard one. I can promise you that. And even you are not prepared as much as you think you would be.